Eminence. Go to me up in the air.
Wanted to be the king, couldn't hold the crown.
9, 8, 7. We have a go. Command to start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
My focus, I ain't seeing things the same. Gotta get back to it, gotta get back to it. Make them all remember my name. I've been seeing the picture out of focus. I've been leaving my head back in the moment. I've been flying around, know I've been going. I'ma ride where the wind is gonna blow back. I'ma be the one to let you know I'm done. I'ma hit the floor and I'ma start to run. I've been flying high straight through the weather. Couple hits gone.
What is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with my fourth gold interview featuring a very good friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. Probably because we're on opposite sides of the planet, but Mr. Alex Marshall, he is the free safety for the Albuquerque Atoms. How are you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Trying to stay cool, honey. Being out here in the desert, it's 115 degree heat, But it's
I don't know how you guys do it. Like I'm sure you've seen those videos in Australia where the streets are melting and they can cook eggs on them. It must be like that over there.
No, not quite. It's too dry about, I guess.
Makes sense.
But no, man. Well, welcome back to the show. It's been a minute since I've seen you and talked to you and everything. So let's catch up a little bit. What's been going on with you personally that you don't mind sharing with people?
Not too much. Job-wise, it's all the same. Still in the same place. Things going well. It's funny actually. My girlfriend, she's made friends with somebody who plays. You'll like this one actually. She plays for there's a women's American football league that runs around here. And on some of the teams, there's Team Great Britain players, and you can have open try to join and play with them as well. And the skill difference is quite something. And a couple of weeks ago, I went to one of their games. So she might be playing with them, and it's quite cool. It's very very neat as well. Being around a lot of different people, a lot of people that are really gotten really into American football. Nice little tight knit community there, and they play at like the rugby clubs around the area. Yeah, like they have some Team GB players in the league, and they're on a different level entirely.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. Is she trying out for the team, or is she already on the team?
Try is probably isn't the right word. I think they're just always recruiting the people because it is, as you can imagine, it's still rather small.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many teams there are. It might be like 6 or 7 or maybe 8, and they do about 4 games a season or 4 or 5. But still, it's very impressive considering everything that it is and having it happen all the way over here. And yeah, I think the Team GB players obviously they play in like Europe and that, and don't know if they play Americans. I imagine that's still a completely different depth even for them. But it was very cool to be there, surrounded by locals from Leeds and around the rest of the country, and they were all getting really into hearing them talk about all the coaching schemes they do and that. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Dang, sounds cool, man. I love hearing that. I love hearing things like that. I wish I
did show. I hope she does well. I'm terrified of her playing because they do get vicious, as you can imagine.
Absolutely.
I did show one of them that she's friends with. I did show them the SFL, so that was funny. She thought it was cool.
Please tell them come on in. I mean, not only can you play it in real life, you can come in, play it, and not get hurt. Actually, feel the pain that you typically would. You're not sore afterwards.
Definitely. Definitely.
But that's awesome, man. Now, your own personal SFL career just ended. As far as the season ended for the Atoms.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the season? Because to be honest, I thought that you guys would have been in the championship originally. That's one of the things that I said. Now it's Lincoln and Madison, which is awesome. You know, they play some fantastic ball. But what are your thoughts about how your season went?
I think with this season, we had a really young team. It was a lot of new people. A lot of the two-ways had moved on because they had progressed more enough. So it was a lot of new people, and we did have a couple like dropouts. So yeah, the retention overall was good. It was just a bit tough, like always only having one tight end. I think it was. I think we had a couple linebackers go as well. But the good thing is like the group we have is still very good, and a lot of them, like Sam Harrison, Bob Wood, and Lucas Gilbert is very new. He's been very into it as well. But I mean, overall, the season-wise, I'm pretty happy with it because we did start off pretty rough at 1-3, and then we turned it around and got to 4-3. And if it was win and you're in at the final game, we got pumped by Lincoln, but they're the number one seed, and they're very good, and a lot of their players have reached their full potential finally. Like Logan Lee, for example, he's finally gotten going for real now. And yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with this season because we did have a great season the year before, getting to the championship and winning it. So we did know going into the second season that was going to be a bit tougher, just because it was just kind of a completely new team. And yeah, I don't really have any complaints. And I thought I played pretty well. Spent a lot of time kind of trying to plan my own build out this year. I kind of took control of my own guy a little bit, and I did speak to the coaches still to see what would work. There was one point where I was thinking, I'll do something different and load up on pass rush, and then I spoke to Swally and he said, no, it's a bit useless for that position. So I decided to go elsewhere, and yeah, no, I'm very happy with how my guys turned out, and think I'm good and ready for the new game, hopefully, because hopefully this draft will go better for me than last time.
Yeah, you know, and that was interesting to know how your player builds would translate over to the new game. What would you have to sort of sacrifice because you want to play in a certain way, and now you have to kind of totally rethink that, you know? So it is interesting to see how that's going to translate over to the major leagues. But to your point, this season you had 47 tackles, 14 assisted tackles, tackle for loss, a couple pass deflections, 5 interceptions though, and a forced fumble. So when you say that you built your player, you know, with your own progressions, you actually built a pretty good player to be able to still be effective, you know. So yeah. I'm really happy. Like, I think my picks last season were 2, so I've doubled that and added 1 more. So again, I'm really happy with how he's turned out, and I've tested him out a bit in 2K4. I've got the new game. I've had it for quite a while, and I've even got the Retroid there. Yes, the Retroid. So, great! Can't wait to get this because I got the game on here, but I've not played it just yet, just because I'm waiting for the mod to come out, because I know the settings are going to be a bit of a pain to figure out with all the textures and everything like that. But I'm very excited. And, it was good. It was good to have that game announcement when it did, because I think it came out in January. It was right after the draft, and it got me a bit more excited again, because after the draft, I did take a bit of a mini break for a little bit, not in terms of like leaving the league or anything like that, but I wasn't quite as active as I used to be, just because I was kind of bracing for a 6-month wait before I could get another chance again. But the game announcement came out when it did, and got me good and excited again, and kind of got into doing sims and stuff like that, because the game's more accessible than APF is, which is great for it. And had fun making playbooks and things like that, and building out rosters, which manually doing it in game is pretty brutal, but it's fun to see how SFL rosters actually play in the game rather than the NFL ones or the generic ones. You know, speaking of which, you said you had to wait about 6 long months in order to be able to play again. How many seasons have you actually been in the SFLm?
Well, this will have been my second full season. I joined midway in the off season before the first one, and then so I still have to wait a bit then to play the first time, and then obviously the full wait this time around for the second season. So I've been in the SFL system rather for quite a while now. So it's quite funny being in it now for nearly a full calendar year, and I've still not got any idea what the other side is like really with reading the pros, and it's quite a lot different. And, there's a lot more things going on.
Right. I was going to ask you. So you went through the draft process last season, and you were not selected. How? Because I'm not sure if that's going to be the case this season. I think they're actually going to make it so that everyone is drafted, which is awesome, But take us, how did that make you feel? And how did you deal with that and still keep your positive attitude about going back to the minors, going through that whole process and not being selected?
Yeah, so obviously when it didn't happen, I mean, last season's draft was quite small. It wasn't that many places to begin with. So I remember in the few days leading up to it, I kind of gotten a sense that it wasn't going to happen just because of how many spaces there seemed to be. And I wasn't like angry or upset or anything like that. I know, unfortunately, my face was plastered all over the stream of the draft right at the end when I was just like this. I'm not looking happy, but in my defense, it was 2 a.m. on a Sunday, or it would have been Monday, I think. So, it's all right. I mean, and again, like I remember I tried actually getting into doing scouting. This is before the 2K4 nonsense. And I was watching the Adams games back from the season before. I was making a spreadsheet, trying to do what other people were doing, and I was struggling with it a bit because it's a bit tough to do it when you're just on a laptop. It's really a godsend having two screens. Like you work with spreadsheets and you're constantly having to look between a TV and a dusty old laptop that barely works.
Right.
But thankfully, they made that announcement for the new game, and I decided to jump into that because my initial thought was, well, what's the point of learning the game that's going to be irrelevant to me? No point. So. Yeah, I started just running sims with 2K4, and I like to get my phone out. I was doing it on my laptop, and it could run the base game. Okay, I can't do. No way I could do the mods, but I get my phone out, like take little bits of footage of things I'd seen, and either post it in the server or send it to people. And eventually, Atlanta was nice enough to notice, and they liked that I was enthusiastic about the Switch, and they want me to come in and do scouting for them, and it was purely for 2K4. I didn't do any APF scouting for them. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was editing the NFL rosters in game to beat the SFL teams. Like the names I couldn't change because there's an in-game limit to how many you can change, which I didn't find out until way later, and it killed me a bit because I'd already edited the names for like 3 teams, I think it was, and it takes a while. But yeah, I made like the rosters like just as accurate like could get it to from looking at the portal and running sims of essentially the Swarm versus whoever, and it was good fun, and able to send them footage of what was happening and try to figure out AI tendencies or what's caused this to happen, is what attributes are the most important, and I even got to make because they had an exhibition against Charleston, and I made the playbook for that game all by myself, which was nice. And again, just to show how nice and accessible the game is for anybody. You don't need a massive gaming system or even a Retroid. You can just run the base game, make a playbook, and then you just send a file via Discord to Cam or whoever for the playbook, because you don't have to do a spreadsheet anymore. Which, from what I was dreading doing it originally for the exhibition because I thought it was going to be another spreadsheet deal.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'd heard about that it was like an APF, and obviously that's quite time consuming for the league to do each week, especially with so many teams now. But
yep,
just being able to send a file for a roster or a playbook or anything like that through Discord, they can download it and then import it into their memory card. It was really easy. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I know it's an exhibition and it doesn't matter, but I'm still annoyed if you lost. which definitely means I cared about it a lot and wanted to do well in it. Yeah, and Atlanta seemed to think I did okay, and they liked what they saw, so that's good. Yeah.
I mean, well, that's valuable. That's a very valuable asset to have on your team, even if it's just helping for a few months, you know. And you are proving your value and your worth and your investment more so. Some people are just there to just watch the games, which is fine. You know, you can have whatever experience you want to have, but some people want to use their money and go deeper. Some people want to scout. Some people want to coach. Some people want to have more positions in the league that are offered there. And so it's up to you. And I think that would improve your draft stock, especially this season, because you have been so involved, because you have some familiarity with the game. And though you may not be working with the actual rosters, the actual names of teams, you're getting a great foundation of understanding about how to do things, and you can be valuable to whoever decides to draft you. So that's good. I think a lot of rookies should do that. And I also see you in the chats, you know, talking or you know, being active. So all of that will help. And maybe last season you just wasn't ready at that time. Maybe your build wasn't quite where it needed to be, and now you're ready. So, and it's good that you had a positive attitude about it too. Some people don't.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah,
no, I wasn't angry because I sort of thought it was going to happen, and then I did try to figure out what to do next, and the way it's kind of worked out, you know, going to be part of that first draft class into the new game, which is fun. And I think because I've had so much time now to get ready for it, it's kind of nice to plan out my build for the new game and be a bit better prepared, hopefully. Hopefully be able to be of use to a team for sure. I mean, I've very much been looking to potentially do into some coaching of sorts, whether it be like start out in the minor leagues potentially, work my way up, or try to help out for whoever I hopefully get picked by. Because again, it's just way more accessible now. I wouldn't be able to do it in the APF because it's a PS3 emulator instead of PS2, and myself to be able to run it. And then obviously the Retroid as well, so I can run the proper modded up game on that instead of on a base game on my dusty laptop, which was doing Sims at about half speed, I think, at the best times, which was rough. So yeah, it's been a lot of exciting things happening, and I'm loving the Retroid at the moment so far. I think it's been an absolute great move by the league to sort out, and been trying my best to help people out with getting their Retroid set up as well, because it can be a bit of a tricky thing at the start, because like I keep telling people, the PS2 emulator that comes with it is not the one you need to use, because it's the most up-to-date version, and the creator of that emulator kind of ruined it a bit. There's like ads on it now, doesn't perform as well. So I got something pinned in the Retroid channel on the league server that has it's a file to download for the best version of the emulator, and you can put that on your Retroid. It does work better, because Jay Hayden gave me a bit of a heart attack when he was I already told him once, just get that link, it'll be fine, it'll work. And then he keeps posting about all these troubles he's having, and then a day later he goes, oh yeah, I tried that emulator, I was posting how it works. The whole time I thought that he was still having trouble despite it, and I was getting worried because I still haven't gotten the mod sorted out on my thing yet, or the game really. I'm just gonna have to wait, and I think hopefully everything will run smoothly, and I can't wait, because it's gonna be exciting to see all the new stadiums and uniforms and that in the new game for sure, because we still haven't seen a lot of other team stuff yet, or only little glimpses. So it'll be exciting to kind of tour everyone's place.
Big reveal. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot, it's a lot that goes into it, but I think in the grand scheme of things, everybody is going to wind up being happy, and getting adjusted to something new that you're not used to, it's going to take some time. I think some teams are going to struggle more than others. Perhaps the ones that were in the limelight maybe will not be so much so, and others, because of the time it takes understanding and how fast you can get it and the luck that you have, they may be more successful. So I'm really interested to see how the new game is going to react to our player loads and how we do things too. During the draft, we do have the camera on you. So are you planning on being a part of that this season too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I booked the Monday off work in case it goes into the second day.
Okay.
Because I'll do the whole thing. And the Green Room was a good experience last season, though. I've already put in the SFLm chat telling people mute your TV. some in the last one, some bright spark didn't, and you could just hear the draft in someone's TV, and then not able to talk too much in the Green Room itself. So. No, it was good last time. It was good to chat with people I hadn't really spoken to yet before, including on the Adams itself, and it was good fun. And I like that they cut to the people's webcams when they're drafted or not, because one of the great thing about the draft is all the emotion that goes into it, whether the excitement of being picked, or like say for me last season when somebody's sad that they didn't, but it's good to show the highs and lows of it. So I'm not mad they showed my face. It's fine. It's just at the time it was slightly embarrassing, but it's fine. It's no biggie.
Yeah, and hopefully this time they'll show you walking out there putting that hat on at the team that's gonna be with you and stuff like that. So, but that's what they're saying. I think that their whole deal is to try to get everybody drafted, so we'll see how successful that will be. I do wish you the best of luck. And like I said, with all you're doing to help Atlanta, all you're doing to even help the league and just making suggestions for Retroid, different emulators and things like that could be beneficial for everybody. People will look at that and then they will realize that you are a gem. Now, besides all of that, what type of personality will you be bringing to someone's locker room if you should get drafted?
Well, someone who's trying to be a bit of a leader in the locker room, because that's what I was doing this season with the Adams, because I even got made captain on the defensive side, which was really nice. So it's just trying to be a bit of a leader in there and help out where I can. If people ask for what they should progress or something, hopefully maybe I can offer input. Though obviously, coach's choice of what they want to say. And just try to be a positive presence and all that, and try to help everyone where I can in terms of the new game, or the Retroid if they have any issues with it, or even just the league itself with who they need to speak to. Because after being in the league now roughly a year, give or take, it's I may know people they can speak to if they want to find out about something, whether it be like coaching or scouting or anything like that.
Right.
I've made some good friends here in the league since I joined. A lot of them from the season 6 group of the SFLL, as well as some in the season 7 group as well, which has been great. So it'll be good to hopefully join them in the league next season in the new era. And it's very exciting. Very exciting, though the nerves are starting to set in a little bit with us into the final week here. So fingers crossed.
Indeed. I remember those feelings. Don't worry, just breathe, you'll be fine. And as long as one thing I will, any piece of advice for rookies that I could give you is to always talk. Now, you don't have to be in chat 24/7, like a lot of people are. That's cool because we see how you interact with other people, which is basically what we're looking for. Are you someone that's argumentative all the time with people? Are you someone that treats people with dignity and respect whenever they talk to you? you know. So when we're looking for someone to join our team, that is what we're looking for. We also want to know how much you want to actually be on the team. So staying in constant contact with those teams that really, really interest you, but also understand that it's not guaranteed for you to go because other people can pick you up right before then, you know? So, and there's nothing that you could deny the contract, but then you would lose all your value. So that's not something that you want to do, especially when there's only one season. All you got to do is play a season. So, I just want everybody to have a good time and all of that. But what type of personality will you be bringing? Did I already ask you that? Or
Yeah, you did.
okay, don't worry. I'll cut that one out. But
right.
no. What are you expecting from the team that drafts you? So, what type of locker room? What type of coach? What type of front office staff are you expecting to go into?
I definitely do like being in locker rooms, or at least reasonably active. Obviously, I know that's quite obviously. The funny thing with the league is that you probably don't meet or ever speak to about 3/4 of the people in there because it's so big and so many people often are just in their locker rooms. So as long as the locker room itself is fairly active, I won't mind if they don't pop into general. The guys that try to watch the games when they happen, because it was fun this season at the Adams. A lot of the guys would just be chatting in the locker room about the game as it was happening, and they'd be adding people saying this and that. I was able to pop in a couple of times just because the time zones have been tough to watch a lot of the games this season. But in terms of coaches, definitely would like to go to a team who would be open to me trying to help out on the coaching side of things. And I wouldn't necessarily want to go to a team where they go, you're a rookie, shut up, just be a rookie, and maybe we'll talk to you in the season or something like that, because you don't want anything like that where you're just being put down a level or anything like that just because you're new. It shouldn't matter that much. If you offer to help, you should get a chance to try to, and obviously be able to give critique as well for, like, say if I suggest something on the coaching side of things, and be able to explain why I'm wrong and do it in a way that isn't going to be putting down or anything like that. Just try to be constructive, I suppose. I guess the right word.
That's important. I mean, just be respectful. You only treat people the way you want to be treated. So if you expect respect, and just give it. And I don't think that there are too many teams out there. At least I haven't heard. No one's told me about it, because I definitely would have had a conversation with their owners.
Yeah.
That do people like that. So hopefully that's not something that's happening. And if it is, let me know, Alex. Let me know, because I will have a talk. They know, but I got a couple fun questions before I let you go, because I know it's getting late. I can see it's getting late over there. So
that's all right.
So if someone is making a movie about your life, who is playing you? Who is starring you in the movie? Who's the actor that's going to be playing you?
Oh,
Mr. Marshall.
Sure. You ever seen Parks and Rec?
No, but I've had people tell me to please watch it because I'm a comedy fan.
Good. Forget the actor's name. I might try to look. You might not know who he is. He's a bit of a nerdy guy who is from the federal government. Parks and Rec cast. I always thought he was funny. Where are you? Adam Scott? Is that name ring a bell for you?
Not really. Maybe if I see a face.
You probably would have recognized him from some random movies and Parks and Rec. You've seen clips. I've always found him pretty funny and a bit nerdy, because I'm definitely a bit nerdy myself. I think he'd be good.
Oh, I see. Yes, I know him. That fits. I can see that. I do know him. I'm more of a face person. I remember your face.
Yeah.
So you can only eat one thing for the rest of your life. What is it?
Probably just like pizza or something like that.
Pizza? Okay.
I usually have it often anyways. I just had to recently get rid of a bunch of cardboard pizza boxes from the last couple of weeks and dump them in the recycling. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's often my go-to. Back in college, I probably lived off of it with the handy 50% student discounts. Oh.
Hey, listen, cheese, dough, sauce. Got a little bit of all the food groups in there when you add some meat and some veggies, and there you go. I get it. So.
Oh yeah.
So you have your cell phone, but you have to only have one of the 3 apps on it. The phone app, though, you can actually make a call. Your text message app, where you can shoot it off a text message, or the internet, like Safari, Google. You have to get rid of 2 of those. Which ones are you getting rid of, and which one did you keep it?
That's tough. You could probably cheat and use the internet to use other things, like because there's chat rooms and things like that, or message boards if they're still around. Reddit as well. I don't really do phone calls that much, really, so I'd probably take that off right away. And even with texting nowadays, I only text one person. It's my girlfriend usually, and that's about it. I don't really use it for much else. I spend half of my time just browsing Discord, really, or Twitter, even though Twitter doesn't work now. But yeah,
internet. You keep an internet.
Yeah, I think I'll go with internet because it allows me to do a lot more. I think, which is a bit of a cheat, I think, but
smart, because you can. Everything that I basically told said you can make a call over the internet, do all of it. So
exactly.
It's all about how you look at it. So if you can have dinner with anyone that's living or not living, that's famous or not famous, who would it be and why?
I would say Neil Armstrong. First man on the moon. I've always been a bit of a nerd for space stuff. Especially since I was a little kid. When I was a kid, we went to Florida a few times, and I've been to the Space Center there and toured the museums and there, and all the like the rockets that they've got on like the Saturn. There's one place, forget where, in at the Space Center, where they just have the Saturn V, the Apollo rocket on the ceiling, basically hanging down, and it was like one they just didn't use. So they just hung it up, and it's very, very cool. So yeah, I'd have to go with Neil Armstrong, just because I've always been massively into space stuff, and talked to him about what it was like and how close was it to actually blowing it up. Because apparently they did get very, very close when they were landing to having to they were like, I think they only had like 10 or 15 seconds of fuel left in that stage when they landed, so they were very close. He just spotted some rocks at the last second that they had to get past before landing, apparently. So he did want to speak to. And yeah, I've always just really like the movie Apollo 13.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. That's one of my favorite movies, and the guy Tom Hanks plays, Jim Lovell, would be another one I'd love to speak to, because he's listened to him in the interviews and documentaries quite a few times. He's really, really interesting guy, because he was the commander of it, and yeah, he's went to space a lot of times, but never got to go to the moon or land on the moon actually, because of what happened in 13. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. You kind of actually answered another question that I had, so I'm not going to ask you that one this time.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you if see, I had that one and you already answered it, so I need to think of the other one. Last question. So as an adult, what is something that you've tried that you know you will never try again? Like terrible experience, or maybe something that was spicy that was way too spicy and it, too much for you, or just something that you did as an adult that you tried. Maybe your friends pressured you into it. Maybe your girlfriend said, "Hey, honey, let's try this." Never again.
I would think one I could think of would be because my family that live in Texas is going there in the middle of the summer when it's horribly hot. I could not do that again, and I wouldn't want to bring my girlfriend with me to that either. We did go there last autumn though, in like November for like Thanksgiving, so that was nice. But I've been telling her like you would not be able to do the heat there because they get like 100 plus degrees Fahrenheit, way worse than anything we'll have experienced here in the UK, and we're just like it's horrendous. Like I don't know how people do it there, living in that heat. But then you guys get built for it better with all the infrastructure. Well, we just have crappy brick houses.
Oh dear. Yeah, I saw what happened to y'all last summer.
Yeah, well, those fires breaking out in London one day, and I still have nightmares about after work the bus ride I took, because the bus was rammed full, no circulation in there. It was horrendous. Just because there's like all the windows are open, but there's nothing coming through that could cool anybody down. I think there was a bus strike going on as well, so it was extra full because one of the services was gone. Yeah, I mean the strike's going on all the time here, but yeah, that's one thing I would never do again. Probably would be going somewhere like an Arizona or a Texas in the middle of like their hottest time, just because I would not be able to bear it. It'd be similar to going to Canada in like January or something when it's going to be minus 30 or 40. Which is something also my girlfriend does not want to do. She does not. I keep joking. I'm telling her like, oh, I'll bring you to the Rocky Mountains in January. We'll go skiing. You'll love it. She just does not want to deal with that weather. So dreary old Yorkshire weather for us. That's what we got.
Well, I get it, because this 115-degree day today it's a lot. It's different because where I come from Georgia, which it's a very humid climate. So you can sit outside. Like I just sat outside for a while, and you're kind of on the verge of sweating. If you're out there in the sun, of course you will. But like if you're sitting in the shade like I was, it's still hot as hell. But it's like it's kind of like in a way for me it's kind of comfortable a little bit. But when you're in Georgia, you go outside and sit in the shade, you're sweating. It's instant. You can get out of the shower and go in your room, dry off, put on your clothes, and you'll be wet again. That's how the difference, the intense and heat is here. So dry heat is not so bad, but I understand your perspective because y'all don't have anything to cool off. And
definitely. Like I'll be glad if I play away at a hot stadium area, like say if I go away to the Scorpions or something like that, I'll be glad it's in a video game. Just
stay inside. That's how we handle it out here. Just stay inside. You don't have to go out there.
And you guys aren't in a dome, I don't think either. So it's gonna be rough for those poor little avatars.
They find a way. They found a way. Yeah. We have air conditioning helmets. We have like that's how we spend our money. We're gonna be comfortable. Our pads are cool, so we're
fair enough.
It was fun, Alex. You have any questions for me, or did you want to discuss something before I let you go?
I think. How are you feeling at the moment? Getting into the new game, you ready for it? You reckon? You excited to see what you'll be doing a bit differently, your player wise? Because I imagine you're very excited for your player to be actually able to run. I think I've seen you mention before. You want to run the ball and Eddie shuts it down every time. But now the games seems to be a bit more designed where whether he likes it or not, you will run potentially. And I'm sure he's going to be trying to glue you to the floor, won't he? Potentially.
Listen, I've been working on my sliding techniques. I've been eating my Wheaties, so got my weight up a little bit, so I could take a hit.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be all right. But seriously, I'm looking forward to the new game. I'm looking forward not only seeing how player builds now are going to be different, because apparently each team is going to have its own identity, and they're trying to make it so that each player also has their own identity as what they are great at, what they need work, so no one looks alike. I'm curious to see how that all works out. I'm also curious to see how the AI will run in comparison to 2K8. Are we going to be having as many issues and glitches as you were having with that game versus this one? Obviously when you're going through games and they're refining, they're upgrading, 2K8 would have been the upgrade. But I've also been told that 2K4's AI was a lot smarter. So I'm just anxious to see how it all works out and how these coaches are going to deal with having to put 230 plus plays inside of the books and manage that. I know that Cam is going to be happy to not have to, like you were saying earlier, as far as entering in all those files and everything. It's going to be, I'm going to put this in and done. And if you decide that you want to make some changes, you got to do it. But it's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. And, you're already seeing some interesting things on the portal when you look at the other teams, what they're doing. It's going to be fun to see who doesn't suffer when they've cut their durability by 5 or 10 points, because players are doing it to squeeze in a few attributes somewhere else, and there's always that chance they'll be getting done in for that. So that'll be fun, because it's just good that there's a lot more choices now for what a player can do. So they can take a risk on sacrificing, say, durability, for example, and to make themselves faster or whatever they want to do. The way, because I've fiddled with trying to make a contract and stuff like that, and you can't really just, you can try to balance everything out, but again, you're not really making yourself very good at something. So you kind of have to, I've kind of know what I want to do really build wise, and I'm excited to see how it all works out, and just holding my breath, waiting for the draft to be sorted and see where I get to go and buy that jersey finally. I've browsed the second page quite a few times and I'm excited to get something finally, and it'll be exciting to see what Cam gets up to now that he'll have a lot less of those plays to enter in, because I'm sure he'll keep himself very busy still with all sorts to deal with all the textures to replace and things like that. But not having to enter in all those plays anymore must be such a relief for him. He's counting down the seconds until the SFLm championship is done, because then he's done with APF.
Yes, exactly. But, and that's on the 9th, right? Championship's on the 9th, or is it 19th?
I think it's the day before the draft. I thought it was a Friday night, and then draft is Saturday, Sunday. I think
I gotta check. That. Okay, I'll check it, because I want to do a rookie party. I'm going to do the day, probably the day of the draft. I want to do a live show, and it's going to feature rookies that want to come in, say a few words to the the teams that want that, that they're thinking about drafting them, and we'll talk a little bit, hang out, So I think that'll be interesting. And of course, you can come hang out. Love to have you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think on that day, the Saturday afternoon, I'll be with a girlfriend for the afternoon, so I wouldn't be able to. But no, that'll be good. I'll let the Adams know about that and see if they're interested. No, it'll be good. It's all very exciting times.
It is.
It's funny because I've seen people say, the Prospect Bowl should be the last APF game. They should bring that back. And I imagine Cam just twitching when he saw that.
We'll play another new game.
I was thinking, why don't they do that? The combine was really great.
Yeah, it was.
But it was 2 parts of 6 hours each. So maybe it's something going forward. They could try to maybe one way to cut it down a bit would be to do a game of sorts potentially. That'd be good. Thinking the combine was really great for first go.
Or maybe spread it out, like, come like maybe a little bit, an hour a week, the combine week instead of, something like that.
Yeah, like every few days, do 2-position group instead of hammering them, half of them in one night, maybe. But I'm sure they'll tweak that out and like figure out some of the better plays to run, for example, because it was a good fun. I keep winding up Ty by telling he's ruined my draft stock by not throwing to me.
Throw it to me, dang it! I love it.
Didn't do it once.
No, Alex, this is fun. Please, now, like I said, I'm gonna have that party. I'm gonna put and if you can make it, that's fine. I might be able to even do it the night before because I'm off on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, like maybe after the championship game, maybe I can do a little something live, and then we can have like a nice little party before the draft, and everybody get some sleep and wake up. So either way, I'll figure it out. But I can't let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, a poem, or just a simple shout out. Right now, Alex, the floor is yours.
In terms of a shout out, just want to give a shout out to all my Adams teammates. It's been a long wait to get here, especially for a good buddy of mine, Type Attack, we've been talking quite a lot over the last couple seasons, become good friends, and sounds like he'll finally be getting his due and getting picked hopefully in the draft, which is well deserved. And hopefully, I can't wait to. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to defend him and ruin him a bit next season. Good. But big shout out to him. He's been a good buddy of mine, and he was one of the people that messaged me shortly after the last draft, seeing if I was okay because I didn't get picked, and I always appreciated that. So
phenomenal. Well, good luck, Alex. I will see you soon. And, my door is always open if you need me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.